Hi everybody, it's Susan with Pumpkin Hill Stampers. I have a card project to share with you today as my Stampin' Show and Tell. As usual, if it's Monday, Wednesday, or Friday, you're likely to see a new video here with me demonstrating how to make a card. So if you like my creations, I'd love a thumbs up. Let me know you appreciate what I'm doing. Don't miss anything. Subscribe to the channel. And all my links are below if you want to subscribe to my weekly newsletter so you know all the different programs that I'm running. And I will have all the details for this project also in the link below. So don't worry about taking notes, just enjoy the show. Okay, so today we're going to be using the new stamp set, Petal Palette. It's a double set. So one side is all the images, and then we have some great expressions to use in our various cards as well. Today we're going to be doing the From the Heart expression. Today we're also going to be using our blends to color our images. So we're going to be stamping with Memento ink. You have to use Memento ink when you use your blends markers. So let's just go ahead and get started. We're going to do some die cutting and some stamping and just put this fun card together. Alright, so I'm going to move that to the side so you can kind of see as I'm working the various pieces as we create. So first thing I'm going to do is stamp my flowers and my bird so that the Memento ink can be drying a little bit. So I'm stamping on shimmer white paper. It gives you a little extra sparkle on your finished project, and I think it looks really great when you color with the blends on it. It's also a little bit thicker than our standard white cardstock, although we do have the thick white cardstock now as well. So I just inked that up with my Memento, and then I'm going to stamp one in each corner. I'm not worried about if I get the whole image on my stamp. If it's an active edge, I'm okay with that. So I'm going to flip it over and do that again. I love the way these images look like they were drawn in chalk. And even when you stamp them, they look that way. I think that's a really cool technique. So I hope you enjoy it as well. Alright, so second one down. Okay, we're going to let that dry for a minute before we color that. Then we have to stamp our bird. I think the bird is just super cute. Today I'm going to call him Yellow, the little yellow cap chickadee, but you could make him any color you desire. Alright, so there's our bird. He's got a little die cut we're going to use. Then I'm going to stamp our expression From the Heart, and then we're going to die cut that. So I'm going to go keep stamping in my Memento. Keep it simple. Okay, and then we're also going to die cut this trim with this framelit here, and I'm going to trim that in the old olive. So, put my stamps to the side and my ink. I'm done with that part of it now. So I'm going to bring the Big Shot in. We're going to do the die cutting, and then we'll work with the blends. So let me just move some of these pieces out of the way. Bring my Big Shot machine in. Okay. Alright, I think I might be able to cut all these at the same time. So let's see. So I've got my bird. You just put him down with your framelit. Okay. Then I've got my words, and I'm just going to frame that with the framelit that comes with the bundle. And then we've got our piece of intricate die here. That's going on the old olive. Alright, so I'm just putting a cutting mat over the top. I'm going to run that through. Hopefully the table's not shaking too terribly much. It tends to shake when I die cut. Alright, let's see what we've got. So we've got our bird. That cut out nicely. Wonderful. We have our tag. That is good to go as well. Okay, and let's see how our intricate die did. Looks like it cut through very well, so I'm not going to run that a second time. But I am going to bring in my die brush to help me remove it. So our die brush has these little bristles, and it comes with this kind of foam pad. If you leave your cut in your frame, and then you just kind of press over it, kind of like rakes in the yard, it'll help you break out all those little pieces. And then see how easy that came out with my frame? You might have one or two that are kind of stuck in there, but they're usually loose enough that they come right out. So that was pretty quick, wasn't it? It's a nifty little tool to have added to your table. Okay, so I think we have all of our pieces. So let's go ahead and start building our card. Bring everything back in for you to see as I work. So the first thing I'm going to do is, I've already scored my cardstock, but I'm going to give it a crease with the bone folder. Okay, this is going to be our mount, but I think we'll color first. So here's our shimmer. So today I am coloring with the blends, like I've said. I'm coloring with Daffodil Delight, Old Olive, and Marina Mist. And I've got my color lifter just in case I make a mistake. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can see as I color. Hopefully that'll help everyone see what I am doing, and I will try to keep it in the picture. Okay, so I'm going to start with the bird. I started with the lighter yellow, and I kind of gave the whole bird a wash of color. Careful not to go too close to the edges, but if I do, I can use my color lifter to pull the color off where I don't want it. Then I came in with the darker yellow, and where the black image of the bird is, I went over with the dark one. When you stamp this, like I said, it's kind of like it's been drawn in chalk. You've got some of that white space in your black part of the image. And I found that I liked giving it shading from the blends, just a little bit, so it doesn't look so airy. So I just gave it a little definition. And if you want to color in the wing a little bit darker like I just did, or if you want to add some shading, that's what blends are for. Shading and layering your ink. Alright, so there's the bird. We'll set him aside. Now we're going to do the roses. So I'm going to color the whole rose with my light Marina Mist. And what I found is when it's near the petal, I found that if I do those first, then I can work right along with my color after, because it helps me define where my color is going to change between the blue and the old olive, just so I don't forget and color in a leaf blue. Wouldn't want it blue. Alright, so now that I've done that, I'm just going to pull my tip gently towards the center of my images. Blends are very forgiving. You can really color willy-nilly. You don't have to follow the image. You can go right along. If you really want to work with shading between the light and the dark, you probably want to go a little more carefully and not get too much ink on the first layer, so that you can go back and add shading with a second layer, either with the light pen again, or use your dark pen to go right over the top and add shading. See how quickly that color comes out of the tip, spreads nicely on the paper, and as I'm coloring, I can see, I don't know if you can see with the camera, but I can see the shimmer part of the paper coming through the color. Gives it a little sparkle. So I think that's super cool. Okay, I'll flip over and do the top. Go back and do my edges again. I remember where my leaves and my flowers start and finish. So the blends are really nice because if you go over where you've just markered, it'll make it a little darker, but it won't leave a line. That's a big difference between our classic Stampin' Write markers and our blends. The markers are water-based, the blends are alcohol-based, and the alcohol ink to me, seems to forgive overlaps better than the markers do. I know I have some customers who say, oh, I don't like coloring with the markers because we get that line when we try to color right up next to what we just did. The blends help with that, and you might find that they are more enjoyable for you to use. Okay, now if you wanted to go in with the darker one and add some shading, I'll just show here. I'm going to take this bottom petal and I can just shade where the shadow might be along the flower or in the center, right? The centers tend to be a little bit darker because they're closed up. So see, I can just add a little shading with the secondary color. It's just a darker shade of the same color, like that. And then maybe this one would be a good one to show. If you take your color lifter, this is dark, and I want to lighten the color in some places, I can come right along and color in on these petals. And can you see how it's lightening the color there as well? So you can really add light and dark parts between adding layers of color and then removing layers of color. So hopefully you can see there where I've pulled some of that color up. And see, my tip is still clean as a whistle. So, something else fun you can do with that color lifter. Alright, let's get our leaves colored in here. Now you might notice the tip of this blend has been mushed a tad bit. It's not as firm as it was when it first came. Be gentle with your pens. They do have a nice, strong, I think they're polyester tips, but if you press too hard, they will flatten on you and fray, and it's just because of the way they're being used. So color lightly, have a light touch, and enjoy them. Be kind, don't press too hard. See how quickly that colors? Now that that's drying, you can really see where I've lightened some of that ink on the blue flowers. I've never received blue roses, hint hint, but I think they would be fabulous. I've been told they are true and real, they do exist. So maybe if you've gotten some blue roses, you can send me a comment below and say, yep, they exist, I have them. Alright, so there's that. Let's see. I could add more shading with my darker green blend, my old olive. So if I just came in, I could just add some shading on my leaves. I don't have to add a lot. I can just add a little bit where the flower might be creating a shadow on a leaf. So it kind of depends on your perspective, how you want to color. There's no right or wrong for that. Okay, so I think all of our pieces are now ready to assemble. So we are going to layer all of our pieces up. I'm going to zoom back out, so I'm going to take a deep breath. Okay, so I'm now going to layer, and you'll see it bleeds through on the back, going to layer one we just colored onto our old olive. Okay, and by creating a mount, now no one's going to see that, that bled through, and that's going to go right onto the front of our card. And I'm not going to pop this one up today on dimensionals because we're going to pop up the bird and the from the heart instead. Alright, so there's that. I'm really liking the way that flower lifted the color. Alright, now we need dimensionals. So I need one on the back of the bird, and I need a couple on the back of our from the heart. And then look how I put down this green piece, right? I could snail it, but that could get kind of messy. So I'm going to take my glue dots and I open them up I find where I've got, okay, I've got 3. So I'm just going to press these into my glue dots. 1, 2, right along the row there. And then I pull them back up, so I've kind of created a sticker for my die cut here. And then I'm going to put that down. I go a little less than halfway, so a little below the halfway point. Then I'm going to add my From the Heart, and I'm going to make sure I position this over those exposed glue dots. See? Wasn't that easy? Then we have our bird to add. I think this time I'm going to put him down here. So every card can be different and unique, so don't feel like if you see the way I put it together, you have to put it together that way. You don't. Make it your own card. Alright, so there we go. And then I just stamped the bird on the envelope. I always like having some stamps on my envelope. If you're going to make a card, you might as well decorate the envelope too. Voila, it's done. So I hope you enjoyed this little stamping adventure with me today. Play with those blends, take some colors off, add some layers on, and have fun with your new stamp sets. I know I am. And I will see you all again, be it Monday, Wednesday, or Friday, right here. And have a fabulous day. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.